Today's video is all about transitions. I'm talking about these moments between songs and sections of the service. Now, we're focusing on the keys position because in my experience, most often worship leaders look to the keys player to handle these moments gracefully. But so many times, these moments of transition end up being the most awkward. I can't tell you how many times I've heard a band nail the first song and the second song sounds great too, but what happens in between totally disrupts the energy and the moment that was created by that first song. I'm going to give you 3 simple tips and ways to shift your mindset, practices you can put into place that will make transitions a stress-free thing that you are able to hold down from the keys position. First off, I want to talk about changing your mindset, the way that you approach, the way that you prepare and practice the set list at home. Now we're all looking at the service order online and we say, okay, I got song 1, song 2, song 3, song 4. I'm going to practice and learn those 4 songs. But I'm going to tell you a little secret. There are actually 7 things to practice in that 4-song order. You've got song 1, you've got the transition, song 2, another transition, song 3, another transition, and then song 4. It's those hidden spaces in between that are so easy to overlook. And this makes sense when you're in a practice context because it's just you at home with your piano, you're listening along to the recording, you're looking at the chord chart, you're preparing your sounds, and it's easy to disregard those moments in between. But that is so often why transitions don't go well, because they simply haven't been thought about beforehand. It just takes an extra minute or 2 to think about how am I going to get from song 1 and glue it in to what's happening with song 2. This can be as simple as preparing your set lists in your software so that there's a smooth, common thread in the sounds that you choose, making sure that you actually practice the transition from my first patch to my second patch, so you build up that muscle memory, and just having some sort of vision and idea for how you can connect these moments together. It's really more of a mindset shift and a slight tweak to your practice methodology than anything else. But it will go a long way towards giving you more confidence and less stress when it's time to bring those transitions to the stage. So once you've changed your mindset and are thinking about and practicing these moments of transition at home, you have to also bring this to your entire worship team. Now, if you're the worship keys player, this is a conversation with the music director or the worship leader in your band and say, hey, I really want to spend some time from the keys position being intentional about how I can improve these transitions. I'm going to be practicing it at home and thinking about it. Could we dialogue week in and week out and talk about how we want to approach these moments? The goal here is that your team actually rehearses these moments of transition. Again, this gets so often overlooked. You do the first song Sunday morning during rehearsal, you stop it. Does anybody need anything different in the mix? The tracks feel good, drummer, how you feeling? And then you say, okay, let's click into the second song. But that's not actually how the service is going to flow. You're going to play the first song out, you're going to let it ring, you're going to do something to fill that space, hopefully, and then you're going to go right into song 2. Now, obviously, you need to do these functional things on Sunday morning to make sure levels are good, make sure everyone's happy with their mix. So I like to approach it as a rough pass-through of every song as the beginning of the rehearsal, and then once everything is feeling pretty dialed in, take it from the top and practice the ins and outs of each song, especially if you don't have tons of time. If you can, run through the whole set list front to back. That's awesome, and practice those moments of transition. But at the very least, play the final chorus of the first song into the intro of the second song, and repeat that for every moment of transition that's a part of your set list. Everybody on the band is going to benefit from this. They're going to know when they're in, when they're out, how much space the guitar should fill as they're swelling. It's going to reduce everybody's level of stress, and you're going to benefit because those transitions are going to feel seamless when you're on stage. Now, after you've practiced your transitions at home and synced up with your worship team to rehearse them before Sunday service, the last thing you need to do is be prepared for anything. Transitions have this way of sort of creeping up on you. You didn't think there would be a transition between this element and that one, but all of a sudden, everybody's just sort of waiting for you to do something, to fill some space. Maybe somebody's taking a little bit longer to get to the microphone than you thought they would, and all of a sudden, you are the one who's sort of making sure that that moment doesn't feel too empty. So you can practice at home, you can rehearse with your team, but if you are not prepared with a plan for how you're going to be flexible when things go off script, then you're still going to feel like you're actually not ready for those moments of transition. So for me, this gets practical in a couple of ways. Anytime I build a set list inside of Sunday Keys, I always include a patch called Filling Space. And this patch is really simple. It's a piano and a couple of pad sounds, and I make sure it's always right in the middle of my set list. That means if I'm playing the first song, do it again. And then we're going to go into What a Beautiful Name, which is my next patch in the set list here that's planned. But maybe the pastor wants to vamp for a little while or calls out a different song, or the worship leader gets inspired and starts to improvise. I don't want to be stuck with no way to do something to fill that moment. So I have this Filling Space patch that's ready when I need it. And of course, I can adjust this in real time. And if you're using a tool like Sunday Keys, you could also always rely on the Tonic Pad Player to fill some space. I could just choose I'm in the key of A, just finished Do It Again, and now I've got this pad that's just hanging out, filling a little bit of space in the background. Maybe I need to figure out, hey, what song are we actually playing next? Talk to the music director or give instruction to the band if you're the one calling those shots. So this is a way to just have that little safety net so there's not that dead air. You can take stock of what's happening, and then when you're ready, you can go to that next song. So I always make sure I have sounds and a patch ready to go to cover any unexpected moment where I just need to play underneath somebody. But it's not just having the right sounds, but also knowing what to play. And this is where a lot of people get super scared. So they'll either underplay and maybe just continue to repeat the last chorus of the last song for 5-10 minutes sometimes, which can get a little bit repetitive, or they'll dive right into the next song. And by the time you actually start singing it, people are tired of it. Or maybe you feel that you have to fill tons of space, and sometimes you end up stepping on top of the moment that's happening, if it's a prayer or some exhortation or something like that. So I recommend that you just practice moments of underscoring. Go look up one of your church's previous live stream videos and just play underneath your pastor. Try and match their cadence. When they're talking quietly, you can fill the appropriate amount of space. If they build things up in intensity, you can try and support or enhance what they're doing. And as you build that up, it's going to become more and more natural and intuitive to you, and you're going to feel less stress in the moment. Now, if you want some more specific ideas for how you can find the right sounds for playing underneath someone, how you can handle those transitions, and also some basic chord progressions that you can play in any key when you need to play underneath somebody, we'll put links in the description to videos on those topics, because these transitional moments are really important, folks. And if you don't focus on them at home during your rehearsal, and if you don't have a plan for when things go off script, it's going to be a challenge. Now, I know that your heart in watching this video and serving on your worship team is to enhance the sound of your band and to serve your congregations. Thinking a little bit more intentionally about transitions might feel like you're getting in the weeds, you're overemphasizing the details, but bringing something of excellence is important. Not so people are impressed by what you're doing, but so that you minimize moments of distraction so people can be more engaged and encouraged by your times of worship at church. I appreciate the time that you're putting into trying to grow this skill set. If you have questions the video didn't address, leave a comment and we can talk more there. If you'd like info on Sunday Keys, which is what I'm using for all of the sounds I've demonstrated in this video, we'll put a link in the description to that tool as well. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.